My whole intro was overexposed and not in focus, so no intro for you.
So I thought I'd just go through some basic things like gyms, cafes, study spaces, campuses, transport, the kind of stuff that is useful to know before you're there, but also just useful to know in general about the city. So I thought I'd basically start with study spaces. Where is good to study? Where are you allowed to study? So on Highfield campus, which is the only one I really know, there is the Centenary building, which is really, really pretty, and you don't need a student ID to go into it. Like, you just walk in, there's lecture theatres downstairs, and then like second or third floor upwards, basically if you go up the stairs, there's like individual study spaces, like little booths, I guess. There's like 4 people tables, there's circle tables for like 8 people, and then there's obviously like also lecture theatres. Now, there's not explicit rules on like the amount of talking you're allowed to do in Centenary, but sometimes it's really quiet, so like you don't want to go in there if you've got a lot of stuff to talk about. If it's quiet, like you might want to book a study room. Like, there are study rooms in Centenary, you can book them on the library website. However, I think you don't get to book them for very long. Like, Centenary I think is quite nice. I think it's probably the place most people prefer to study because it does tend to be nicer. You then have obviously like the library. You have the Hartley Library, which you need a student ID to enter, and there are lots of study spaces, but it depends when you go. Like, if you go during exam season, if you're not there at 9 AM, you're not getting a seat. There's like 5 or 6 levels. Each level has a different amount that you're allowed to talk and eat. Like, I'm pretty sure it's the higher up you go, the less you're allowed to talk or the less you're allowed to eat. People will get mad at you. Everything on like the Facebook Hampton is just, if you're on level 3 and you're talking, you need to shut up. Like, people will get mad at you, rightfully. If you need to talk, go to the level that you're allowed to talk on. But again, there are lots of seats. It's a bit, I didn't enjoy it. I did an exam in there. I went there to do a bit of studying. I didn't love it, but then also I'm not the kind of person that enjoys studying outside of the house. Like, if I have studying and work to do, I would want to do it in the house. That's kind of my studying space. I wouldn't choose to go outside. Then Avenue campus, I don't actually know if it has a library because I've only been to it for netball, but I also like walked around, and there's just kind of lots of little study zones. Like, you don't need a student ID, you can just walk in, but obviously like there's not many seats. Like, you won't find somewhere to sit most of the time, but there are kind of a few small places. Like, it's not worth planning your day that you're going to go to Avenue and study because you probably won't get a seat. Whereas if you go to Highfield, you've got the Centenary, you've got the library. Lots of different buildings have like little study spaces as well. However, I don't know of them. Like, the psychology building has a psychology room. I don't actually know anyone that's ever used it. Like, on the open day they made a really big thing of like look, we have a really cute little study space, but I don't know anyone that's ever used it. If we now talk about cafes, I guess, because that's a good segue, most of the good cafes are in Portswood. Like, and it depends whether you want a cafe to like sit down in or you literally just want to get a coffee, because there's Costa and Pret and Starbucks and probably something else on campus. You probably can't sit down in those. Like, you might be able to sit down in the Costa, but I've done work once in the Costa, didn't enjoy it, not really worth it. The Pret, which when they did the Pret free trial was packed. Like, I don't know if they still do it, but most people I know got the Pret free trial at the beginning of 2nd year when we actually had to like attend in-person lectures. I wouldn't want to study in that cafe anyway. Also, I think the drinks from Pret suck. So there are like those 3 which are kind of, I would say they're more if you want to get a drink, you don't want to sit in them. Then down Portswood there's actually like nicer cafes, but again, I'm not the biggest fan of like studying outside of the house, so kind of depends what you like. So there's Coffee Number 1, which, if you follow me on Instagram, that was my second home. We went pretty much every week. They have an app, they have a student discount, they have like a buy 9 drinks, get your 10th drink free. They've always got some kind of discount on. The coffees aren't hugely expensive, but they're also not that tasty. Like sometimes they will actively give you the wrong drink or forget that you ordered something, and it's also incredibly warm in there. Don't know why, but it does have like a nice area for studying, although I'm pretty sure the Wi-Fi is quite bad. Like, you could study in there, but again, it's not great. Then also Muse, which is a much smaller cafe, much prettier, somehow cheaper, but you probably won't find a seat. Like, also the seats are kind of weird. They have a few tables, but also a lot of it is like almost more sofa chairs, which, like, if you have a laptop, you can't really access your laptop. So yeah, quite hard to sit and study there, but the food's nice. There's then the Nest, that was new in my 3rd year, I think, and they do really nice vegan donuts. Like, I think the Nest is probably more so a place where you go to study. It just felt, I don't know, cleaner. Like, I felt like I'd be more inclined to want to go there. It felt cleaner. The tables were actual tables. It was quite small, and like the coffee wasn't great. I didn't hate it. I feel like out of those 3, I think I'd probably choose Nest. I'd want to get, if I was getting a drink to take out, Muse. If I needed something cheap, none of them. Hopefully Coffee One if I had a discount, otherwise no. I reckon I'd be more wanting to sit inside Nest. I think it also felt kind of nice and like cool, as in like fresh air, rather than Coffee One and Muse are both like stuffy. Yeah, in terms of cafes, if you want to study in one, I would say Nest, but Nest is very, very small. It will get busy. If you just want a coffee, Muse is nicer. If you want a nice picture, Muse is nicer. But also double check if any of them have apps or student discounts, because Coffee One is worth it with the student discount, and then like sometimes the app has 25% off, but otherwise, as much as I went all the time, they fucked up a lot of my orders. Then if we look at like getting, you know, if you want to go out for drinks, and I mean like you want to get cocktails, you don't want to like go and club, there are lots of places that do drinks, but it kind of depends on the vibe that you want. Like, a lot of places that do drinks are places like Trago Lounge, which is just a restaurant that happens to do drinks. Like, it's not a drinks place. So yeah, so like Trago Lounge, I've had drinks in there once. The cocktails are kind of expensive. I got some kind of raspberry blackcurrant thing, it was really nice, but again, it's not really a drinks place. You then have Turtle Bay in the city, which people love Turtle Bay. I don't like it. I don't like any of the food. The cocktails are tiny. I would say I would drink most cocktails, as in anything that's like berries, mangoes, I will drink them. I think there's only one thing I liked in Turtle Bay. It was 2 for 1, so it was okay, but it also had grapefruit in it anyway, and I was like, well, that will stop my antidepressant. So the only one that was nice stopped me from feeling happy. Broadway. If you want drinks, the Broadway is a drinks place. Like, it's a sports bar, pub. Like, you don't really want to go on a sports night, but otherwise they're just showing like cricket, and like, yes, you'll get a couple of like scrungly old men in there, but they don't really tend to talk to you. It tends to be a place where a lot of like societies will go for like pre-drinks before they go to like a club, or it's where you go for drinks and cocktails. It's specifically for drinks and cocktails, essentially. Definitely the best out of all the ones I'm going to list to you. Doesn't get too busy. We've always managed to get a table. 2 for 1 cocktails. I don't have a huge amount, but you know, there's about 6 cocktails on that menu that I would drink. They don't really tend to check ID because I think they know that it's like a student place. And it's also right in Portswood if you're gonna get drunk and like stumble home. Broadway is definitely the best one out of all of these. Cheapest, nicest, better location. You then have Orange Rooms, Orange rooms I've been to for bottomless brunch, and it was dangerous. There were issues on my end. It was worth it money-wise, but Jesus Christ, you will die. Like, as soon as you order your first round, and as soon as they hand you that first round, they ask you what you want for the next round and they bring that. So we ended up with like 5 different rounds of drinks on our table at once, and they just kept coming, and like, you can tell them to stop, but also you've paid for an hour, you want as many drinks as you can get. They were all really nice drinks, but I did get politely kicked out for being drunk in the bathroom. So again, you could technically stumble home from it, but a slightly further out stumble. We've also done the Funky Flamingo bottomless brunch, which you get food with it. The food options aren't great. I enjoyed it. It was kind of just like shitty party food. It was like scampi and chips, chicken and chips, pizza. Pizza was really nice. But I think the drinks were really boring and didn't taste like alcohol. Like, Orange Room's ones, I could tell I was getting drunk, I could taste the alcohol. Funky Flamingo, you can get like Prosecco, you can get like pitchers, but they were just, I couldn't, like, I would say I think I drank a lot, and like, I don't know if it's just because I had the food to counteract it, or if there was just not really much alcohol in those drinks, but I didn't really feel it. It was kind of just like drinking orange juice. You also won't get through that many drinks because you have to finish each pitcher. You can get 2 pitchers at once, but you have to finish 1 pitcher before they bring you anything else. It's just a bit, I wouldn't recommend it. It's also really dark in there. I don't know what vibe they're trying to go for, but like, it's pretty much pitch black. Like, if you want a bottomless brunch, Orange Rooms. Turtle Bay also does a bottomless brunch, but I don't think I've ever heard anyone getting enough drinks in it. And also, I think all the drinks in it are shit. So, the Giddy Bridge, that's just your spoons. It's not that close to Portswood, I guess you could walk to it. It's just a bit far. I think we've only been like 3 times, but again, can't go wrong with spoons. There's then the Mitre, which I think is like a spoons chain. I think it's a rip-off. It's much closer, it's in Portswood, but it's full of like sportsmen. It took them about an hour to get me a drink, and the drink that I got was like that big. Like, in that time I could have walked to Spoons and got an actual size drink. So you then have Slug and Lettuce. Slug and Lettuce is like in the city, and it again does 2-for-1 cocktails. I think I've been twice, and like, it was nice, but I could also get 2-for-1 cocktails in the Broadway, which is closer. Like, I wouldn't recommend going the distance into the city when you have the Broadway in Portswood. So yeah, out of all of those drinks places, if you want a bottomless brunch, Orange Rooms. If you want cheap shitty drinks, Mitre. If you want actual nice cocktails, Broadway. I've written it down here, but there's also Stags on campus, which is like £3 for a single. Cheap shitty plastic cup, but again, people don't tend to go there for like nice drinks. It's more of a, I'm going to get drunk, or I'm going for like prees for somewhere else. Let's talk about nights out clubbing kind of style, I guess, because that links to drinks. I don't go out, haven't been out. I've been to 1 club, 2 if you count Swiftageddon. So this information all comes from Jade because I don't know shit and I didn't really care for it. So there's Jester's, which is like really, really nearby. It's kind of, I've written down quick. I don't know if that means it's a quick night out or if it's just really quick to get to. It's also just iconic. If you know of Southampton, you know of Jester's, and like, yes, you could die, but it's kind of a night out that I feel like you have to do. I think they only take cash or something, but like, any time a club or society does a night out, chances are you're going to Jester's. There's also then Clowns, which I don't know which way around it is. I don't know if Clowns is the bar, Jester's is the club, or Clowns is the club and Jester's is the bar. But basically, that's more, I think Clowns is the more quiet one because they have pool and drinks. And I don't think many people go into it, but it does exist. There's then Shooting Star, which There's Shooting Star and Hobbit, which are very similar, kind of, you're going to sit and have a drink. Like, again, they're more of a place that people go for like prees or a pit stop on the way to a night out. Like, I've been to Hobbit. Hobbit's nice. It's, again, I think £3 drinks. They all have funky names, but like, they're all just vodka with lemonade and a funky colour, really. Same with Shooting Star. Drinks are cheap, nice plastic cups. You're not going there for like nice drinks, but it's cheap, it's a good place. There's then The Edge, which is a gay nightclub, and I don't know if I'm being controversial here, but why are straight people going to gay nightclubs? This seems to be a thing. Like, I went on a social with a society, and we went to Hobbit first, and then they were going to go to Edge, and I was like, but you're all straight. I don't know. Edge is slightly further out, it's more expensive, it stays open until like 5 AM and it has like nice cheesy music, but I don't understand the politics behind that one. Why are the straight people going? And there's then Switch. Switch is like a club. Switch is, if you want to go clubbing, you have kind of Switch or Trilogy. Switch is the only one I've been to. Drinks are cheap. I hated it, but it is a typical club. Like, it's shitty club music, student vibes. It's good enough, it does the job. It's also not the worst to stumble home from. There's then Trilogy, which is pretty much the same thing as Switch, but there's more rooms of like different vibes of music, I guess. If you want a club, Trilogy and Switch. If you want like shitty drinks, Shooting Star, maybe Jesters. Let's look at like food-based things. Like, if you want to go out and get something to eat, there's actually not that many when I was planning this video. Not that many places in Portswood. Not that many places I could think of that I had gone out to eat either. I feel like, I don't know, I don't really know that being a thing. There are more places like in the city, but I wasn't going into the city. There is XOXO, most beautiful pancakes ever. Highly recommend it. Bit out of the way, but it's kind of just near like Orange Rooms, that kind of thing. Not that expensive. Kind of shitty iced coffees, but very, very pretty. Incredible pancakes. There's then obviously like Spoons, generic Spoons food. Don't think it's more expensive than most Spoons, just kind of generic. There's then Trago Lounge. If you're gonna go eat somewhere, it would be there. Anytime we went out for a meal, it was Trago Lounge. There's now Metrics, which is like similar vibes, I think, but we'd never ventured to Metrics. I would say if you want to go for if you want to go to eat something but it's not like a nice meal, Trago Lounge has like a £6 panini. It has burgers, it has just generic food. I really enjoy it, would highly recommend. There's then also I think the only other place we went out to eat was Cowherds, which so expensive, but also probably the best roast I've ever had in my life. I think it was about £17-18 for a roast, which might just be normal, but then also I'm used to like Trago prices and Spoons prices. Just the best thing you'll ever try. I feel like you've got to do it. It's in the Commons, so it's not far away at all, but expensive. Cocktails were okay. Maybe not worth getting the cocktails, but like, go and have a roast. If your parents come down, make them go and take you for a roast and make them pay for it, because you won't regret it. Then let's look at like the gym. I thought there was more gyms in Southampton, but there's not. There's a Jubilee gym on campus, which I went to for the first 2 years of uni, 1.5 years of uni, 2 years of uni, kind of shit. It does the job, it is a gym, and like in first year it's good because you've got the bus pass to get there, but like otherwise I'm not walking to campus to go to the gym. I suppose if you had like a lecture heavy course, you might want to go, but I think it was a bit shit. Not many machines, kind of one of each machine. It's becoming bigger, but I don't know when it will become bigger. I think it's £19.99 per month, going to $20.99. It does the job. It has a swimming pool, I suppose, which like none of the other gyms have. So if you do want to go swimming, you can either pay the £4.50 individual time payment, or just go for that membership. It does the job. I just think it's a bit shit. There's not much floor space. I never wanted to go on a squat rack because I was too scared. A lot of grunting men. There's then the gym group, which is the newer one. I went there for all of third year. So cheap. It's kind of a cheap, shitty gym, essentially. It does the job. It's got 2 of each machine. It's kind of got like a front and a back section, and the back section's almost like an unwritten women's section, apart from the fact that it has the cable machines there and all the men will sit there. And the cable machines are like right by the walkway, which means that when you're trying to walk into that section, the men are on cable machines in your way. Annoying thing with the gym group, which is so fucking dumb, they don't have a separate place to do classes. So they do their classes on the regular gym floor that you are also trying to use, but they have priority. So do not attend when there is a class going on, because you will not be allowed to touch the floor. And it can get a bit busy, but you can just check on the app. I never really had a moment, like I never really went, I was like, oh, I can't do anything today. Like there's always something that you can do, there's always a machine free. They have like the $19.99 a month, $16.99 a month different memberships, but they also have a student deal, which I had enough discount codes to make it down to £12 a month. So cheap. There's then also Reach Gym, which is in Portswood. Had never heard of it before. It's £25 a month, and they are absolutely horrible people on Google reviews. Like, I don't care what the customer has done. That's not how you respond as a business. So I just read an example. I didn't copy and paste the review because I don't care. Good riddance, you are without a doubt the rudest and most socially inept person we've ever encountered. You left 2 bad reviews with different names, pathetic. It took you an hour to sign up and you still haggled tirelessly and then gave false discount details because you couldn't pay. Go away, you pathetic, negative woman. I rarely respond to reviews. That's a lie. They attack every reviewer. You are beyond doubt the most rudest and bizarre woman I've ever encountered. For the sake of my sanity, please never come to the gym again. I don't care what that person has done who left you a review. That's not how you respond to a review. You say, oh, I'm sorry you felt this way. Might be add some truth to this, or I'm sorry that you had this experience. Like, you don't say, you sarky liar, you are pathetic. So don't go there. There's also Pure Gym. That tends to be the one that people go to, which is between like £16 and £25 a month, but you do have to go all the way into the city. Like, if you've got a car, you're fine, but if not, you're either walking 30-40 minutes to get to the gym, or you're paying £4 for the bus to get to the gym, which is then you're paying significantly more per month because you're having to get to the gym. So I would recommend the gym group. It will definitely be busy. But they have an app for a reason. Like, just check when people are there. Do not go when there's a class going, because you will not be allowed on the floor. And also there's a woman who worked there who's kind of rude. There's like a really nice young woman. The men who work there are really nice. And then there's a woman who, I think, what did she have a go at me for? Oh, they set up their class in front of all the equipment, in front of all the dumbbells, in front of all of the barbells, in front of everything. So even though there was some space on the floor, I went and I took that space on the floor. I can't get to the equipment without disrupting your lesson. So I was like trying to, weave away, not go in their way and get my barbell, get my dumbbells. She's like, excuse me, can you stop disrupting the lesson? I was like, don't put your fucking class, like, the equipment was here, they set their class up here. Just do a little gap. Let me get to, don't put your shit against the wall if you're not gonna let us access it. So, yeah, gym, go to the gym group. One of the people who works there is a bit sarky, but everyone else is really nice. Other gyms are okay, but it's more about getting to them. Like, the campus gym does the job, but also for that price, just go to the gym group one, where it's the same size, you get the same equipment, the only thing is the pool. Transport's kind of good. Like, if you want to get anywhere in Southampton, you probably can. There's Unilink buses, there's Blue Star buses, and they function. They're not really on time. They are becoming more expensive, but they're kind of the only way to travel, and they do the job. Like, yes, your bus sometimes won't turn up. Anywhere that you're going, plan at least 2 buses that could get you there, because your bus might not turn up. The driver might see you at the stop and just not let you off or not let you on. Yeah, they also just sometimes stop at the interchange for like a 40-minute break. So if your bus stops at the interchange, get off and get another one, because you're not going anywhere. Lots of train stations. There's St Denis, you can't really get anywhere from St Denis. There's the airport, and then there's Central. They will all get you everywhere you need to go. Airport doesn't have barriers if you are one of those people. If you wanted that information, you can do what you will. There's also Ubers. They're not bad, they do the job, they're not that expensive either. And you've just kind of got the issue that most things to do are in the city, and like technically it says it's within walking distance, but you're not really going to walk to the city. Like, it's like when you live in Wessex, you could walk to like Aldi. You're not going to walk to Aldi, it's not a good idea. Housing in the city as a whole is shit. So if you're in first year and you're looking for somewhere to live in second year, you will probably live in Portswood. Maybe Highfield. Highfield is more expensive. Portswood is dangerous. Like, if you don't want to live on Portswood Road, probably, like on a side one, you're probably alright, but then also we weren't alright, so you never know. Like, you can find cheapish places. The issue is that all of your estate agents will be scammers. I looked at every single estate agent in Southampton that I could find, and they all have good reviews from landlords who have sold their properties through them, bad reviews from tenants. Like, check that the reviews are not from landlords, because obviously I think like King's Estates, who I was with, all of their good reviews are from landlords who are like, oh, you really helped me sell my property. And like, of course they did, they're getting money for it. Like, all of the bad reviews are from students who have said, you're scammers. The only one I think that looked okay was Poswell Lettings, but again, are the reviews just from landlords? I read something on Facebook about the House Academy, because they don't have a deposit, but then if they don't have a deposit, can they just charge you for stuff? Whereas like if you've got a deposit, it's in a scheme, you can dispute it. I don't know. But basically, you will probably live in Portswood, and like, you'll be fine. But dispute your deposit, whatever they're trying to deduct from you, even just tell them that you want to dispute it, because they'll stop trying to steal all your money. Also, leave them a Google review. There are places like Poshpads that don't respond to their Google reviews, which means that they just have 100 0-star reviews. Whereas like King's Estates responds. They responded to my review actually like 3 months after I posted it with active lies. So that was fun. If you're going to study on campus, Centenary. If you want to go out for nice drinks, Broadway, bottomless brunch, orange rooms. Cafes, Nest or Coffee One. Food places, Trago Lounge, do highly recommend there. Gyms, the gym group. If you've got a car, Pure Gym. Transport kind of sucks, but you've got to deal with it. Housing again kind of sucks, but you've got to deal with it. And then going out places, I guess if you want a club, Trilogy or Switch if you just want drinks. Shooting Star or Hobbit. So I think that's everything. I kind of covered societies in the last one, but again, I don't really know anything about societies. I was only in 2, only one of them was good, so I reckon join every society, and if it's shit, leave. Give it a go. If you don't enjoy it, just dip. But yeah, I think that's all the information I got. If you've got any questions, leave them in the comments or send me a message on Instagram. But yeah, thank you very much for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.